Welcome to the first part of Lesson 1 of Microsoft Access Basics. These videos are designed to correspond to the lessons in my workbooks, and you can find these workbooks, of course, on Amazon, and they contain step-by-step instructions for everything that we're going to cover. In this lesson, we're going to talk a little bit about access terminology. The first very important term in Microsoft Access, or any database for that matter, is a field. Now, a field is a separate piece of information. Now, in this example, we have an access table, and we'll see that we have several fields. We have first name, last name, card number, address 1, address 2, city, state, zip, phone number, and the card expiration date. And so each field is a separate piece of information in Microsoft Access. When you put all the fields together, you end up with a record. So a record are all the fields completed pertaining to one particular item or entity that you're tracking. In this case, the highlighting shows Joe Mitchell's record. And so Joe Mitchell's record consists of his card number, his first name, his last name, address 1, address 2, city, state, zip, and phone number, and the date that his card expires. All of those together become one record. Well, we've talked about fields and we've talked about records, but when you put multiple records together, you store them in an access object called a table. So a table is a collection of records with the same fields. Access has lots of objects, and we'll talk about those objects as we continue on. But the table is kind of your primary object that you're always going to be working with. In this case, this slide is showing you a table in design view where you can actually change the structure of the table, and we will cover that in future lessons here. But it's important that you understand the significance of one particular type of field, and that is called the primary key. The primary key contains unique information for each record, and Access uses the primary key to locate specific records. You'll notice in this illustration that the card number has a little key to the left of the name of the field. That indicates that it is the primary key. We're just introducing the different access objects, and the next object that you should be familiar with at this point is the term query. And a query is an access object that allows you to specify or filter which records you actually want to see, whether that be on a report or a form. And a query allows you to add conditions or criteria, and we'll learn more about this as we continue in additional lessons. Continuing along here, we've talked about tables which hold the records. We've talked about queries which allow us to select specific records. Well, reports allow us to structure the result of our table, or use most often queries, in a way that's a little prettier, a little bit more attractive, a little bit more meaningful. Often we organize our report in column format, and reports allow us to add colors and subtotaling and even grand totals if we desire. And we'll learn more about reports as we continue in additional lessons. The final access object we're going to discuss right now are forms. And a form allows us to edit and view or enter data when we're just dealing with one record at a time. When you looked at the table a few moments ago in a previous slide, you saw that you saw multiple records. And that's both an advantage and a disadvantage of working with the data in tables. A form, on the other hand, allows us to duplicate a form that we might be using in work, or it just allows us to enter data in a little bit more comfortable, familiar way. The last term we need to cover is the term database file. The database file is what you open when you do file open. But when you open up a database file, it contains all the access object, all the tables in that particular database, all the queries, all the forms, and all the reports. Well, this slide concludes the first half of Lesson 1. In the next lesson, we're going to talk about relational databases and the power of creating relational databases. Remember, you can get detailed instructions for everything I'm talking about by purchasing one of my workbooks. You can also find some additional resources at luthermaddy.com.